Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Here Be Dragons. I am your host, Stephen Stark, and joining us this week, we have our regular co-hosts, Nessie and John, but also welcoming for the first time on the channel, we have Sarah, who you may know as SassaK from the chat. No, that is not a reference to The Expanse. She's been asked many times.
Yeah.
I think I asked you at one point, probably. You should really watch The Expanse. It's excellent.
I have watched it now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of us.
Yep.
I haven't read anything, though. No.
But yeah, so we're not here to talk about The Expanse, though. We're here to talk about a new show I just started watching and fell in love with immediately. And that is, of course, What We Do in the Shadows. It is the brainchild of Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. I'm a fan of both of them independently, and when they got together for this, I mean, just it's perfect. Like, I think it's maybe literally perfect. I love this show unabashedly. I did not get to watch the whole season twice, but I watched most of it twice. Why is Discord spamming me with notifications? I need to turn all that off.
The question I have is, Nessie, why, why didn't you tell me about this show?
John, I have told you about this series for years now. Centuries and tens of centuries. No, I was clued in a few years back after season 1. A few of our friends here in the chat. If Aaron M is here, I credit her, and of course Sandrixian and Bernie. They did a wonderful podcast episode on the first season.
I finally got to listen to that too, by the way.
Yeah, and I just had to join in the madness, the memes, the in jokes. It was just too much to miss. So, and I thank them for it because it was great.
Getting some love for Sarah in the chat.
Yeah, I have a real face. I'm not actually Kit Harington in 7 Days in Hell.
Right.
I look like this. I'm just as pasty as he is. We do share that.
But yeah, got some love for SassaK in the chat. I'm loving it. I also see Lady Shar in the chat again. Haven't seen Shar in a while. Love you, sis. It's good to see you out and about again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've only seen the first season, although I've seen most of it twice. And I gotta say, this isn't a show where you follow the chronology in the plot and try to dissect. That's not what this show is. And it is all about the characters in the moment. It is the quintessential, like, situation comedy in that way. And it's, I don't know. I'm going to be effusive as we go on, but we'll start with, we'll just go around, and I always like to start with the guest. Sarah, okay. How did you find the show? What was your initial reaction to it?
Well, I had seen the ads when season 1 was coming out, but I didn't have access to FX at the time. I didn't have cable and etc. But I had seen the movie a bunch of times, and so I really did want to watch it. And eventually I caved and got Hulu, so I was able to binge all of season 1 right before season 2 came out, and so it was a great time.
Yeah. And you loved it immediately, I assume, if you loved the
show. Yeah.
Which
I mean, I was already a fan of, like, Matt Berry, and I'd seen Natasha in a couple of things. I didn't know Kayvon Novak yet, and I mean, what a treasure. So, and I hadn't seen Harvey Guillen really in anything. Again, another treasure. And Mark Prosh, I probably said his name wrong. I know somebody said he was in maybe like The Office for a little bit or something like that, but you know, these are all people that if we didn't know them
Right.
before, now we were waiting to see them in everything. You know?
Right. I would go watch any of them in anything except, again, I don't have the actor's name in front of me. You just said it. But whoever plays Colin Robinson, because I will just want wring his neck no matter what character he's playing. I will just,
yeah, it's perfect casting for
It
that
really
character if that's the way they wanted him to play it
Yeah.
immediately. But either way, it worked out real well. But I can't imagine his character on any other sitcom being that different than Colin. But maybe that's just because he embodies it so well. I'd love to see him play something completely different just to be like surprised.
Right. Nessie, how long ago did you start this show?
Well, like Sarah, I didn't have FX, so I had to wait for it to come out on Hulu. So right after the first season ended, and I binge watched the first season within 2 days just to get. I just couldn't stop watching it, and then I watched it again. I probably rewatched the first season at least 3 times by now. And then of course the second season came out and I was all in. I was like, oh, is it the next day yet so I can watch it Hulu?
Right.
Yeah. And
so you've been watching it for a couple years now then.
A couple years now.
And John, you only recently watched it for the first time, right?
Yeah, a couple months ago. It's all kind of a haze because I went to visit Aziz and Ashaya, and which, by the way, like time doesn't really have any meaning when you're staying over at their house because they're up very late. It's just like if you're sitting in front of the TV, like it just all sort of blends together. And I had heard of the show for a long time, but I wasn't really sure if it was my thing, even though people around these parts had been trying to talk me into it. But I don't even remember how it came up, if they were just going to turn it on and I was like, okay, or if they asked me if I wanted to watch it. But either way, I started with the first episode, and I think I was through like at least half of it, if not more, like that night. And then I woke up the next day and went right back to watching it. And by the time the next like 24 hours was up, I had binged all the way through season 2, and I was in love with the show.
Yeah,
and
it's brilliant. Like, I cannot say anything more than it's just okay. I only started watching it about 2 weeks ago, so I watched, I think, 2 episodes, got the flu and didn't watch anything for like a week. And then came back and binged the whole rest of the season in a night. Watched a couple of discussions about it. Went back and rewatched it, most of it, between yesterday and today. And I'm like, it's perfect. It's not technically flawless, but the mockumentary style just leans into that. Like, sometimes the camera work isn't great, but it's actually fantastic because they're still pulling off what they need to pull off in the eye of the camera with all the CG after effects that can't look too flashy. God, they nailed every aspect of this show. And the comedic timing is
let's take our hat off to the documentary crew, because that's a tough assignment.
Tough gig, especially if you're a sound recordist.
Yeah.
Oops.
So
yeah, they never admit how they got the documentary film crew to follow them, or how they met these people, how these people understood that vampires exist, etc. But I think in the movie they also don't ever give a reason why the documentary film crew found them and they didn't immediately kill them. But it's just a way to
They were obviously not virgins.
Created.
So.
Right.
Yeah, they weren't as tempting. Yeah.
Which, if anything, that pulls me out of the realism. No, just kidding.
That's the breaking point. I got you, Greg.
But no, it's one of those devices that doesn't really need. It's just like, the longer The Office went on, it was like, why on earth would the crew be in that particular camera position? To capture that moment. So at a certain point, you're like, okay, whatever.
Well, like even like it's a later episode, like episode 7 or something, when they almost get burned alive in the sunlight. Is it Colin Robinson looks and says, like, you want to get them out of that well, the camera crew out of that well. They're in real danger.
Oh yeah, they're a tasty snack regardless.
Yeah.
So they don't have to be virgins to be useful.
Right.
They're just slightly less tasty than,
Yeah, less tasty.
Yeah.
So okay. Characters and I say that both in the sort of like high-minded, what character are you playing, but also like the theatrics of these, the caricatures of these characters. There are so many good ones to choose from. So of the main cast, which is going to be Nadja, Nandor, you got some Laszlo, you got Colin Robinson, and I've got to throw Guillermo in there. He's one of the big 5 of like
the housemates.
Right, the housemates. Who, do you have a favorite character? Okay, shows Nandor mug. For those of you not watching the screen, Sarah just drank out of her Nandor mug.
True Staten Islander there.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I don't have, as far as my choice, the only reason I don't have my toothpick is because that's a season 2 reference, but it's Laszlo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Laszlo and his topiary. My God.
How about
Between
you,
my
Nancy?
2 favorite vulvas, my
My
lovely
wife?
wife Nadja, and of course my mother.
My good lady mother.
Yeah.
God, he's so. Oh. There are a million quotes, and I'm sure we're gonna just be quoting this movie at each other through the
It's really
whole.
bad. I wrote
or
down a
not movie,
couple
but
when I was rewatching, and then I just stopped after the first couple episodes because I was like,
I don't even want to say
Yeah.
his name. I don't mind. His name was Mike.
Yeah.
Fucking Mike.
Effing Mike.
Effing Mike. Yeah.
How
First
about you,
season.
Nancy?
I love them all. I mean, seriously, these guys are so just disjointed and work when they're trying to work together. But probably Nadja is my kind of low-key favorite, mostly because I just picture her constantly rolling her eyes at the antics of her husband and Nandor. He's just so over the top.
Oh, yes, Jesk.
And Jesk, the whole Jesk subplot throughout throughout
Jeff.
Yeah, Jack.
Just
it's like
it's like a week.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
You don't have to censor yourself.
Yes.
Say whatever you want.
Yes.
So good. Yeah. Oh,
But,
she's amazing, and
yeah.
I love the names she gives to. Oh, sorry, my neighbors are being really loud in the hallway. I love the names she gives to Jenna, like she's just my little baby donkey,
Yes. Yes. She gets the whole the other little subplot where, she makes a little baby vampire and, she's living in this situation where she's not like, has a lot of power or whatever. And she's raised, from a very low born class. And then she's like, she sees this little baby donkey that she wants to hand raise.
Right.
And bring her.
Jen Else went from 22 hit points to infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's certainly leveled up. And Nessie, I'm right there with you. Like early on, I was like, I think it might be Nandor, but it might be Laszlo. And I got to the end of season 1 and said, nope, it's Nadja.
yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love every one of those idiots, and they are all morons, which is
Oh yeah, but she is low key like the smartest one in the
she's the
group.
smart one, which is really scary because she's an idiot also. Like my favorite bit with Nadja is when they have the beef with the werewolf pack and they're we gathered here on the roof of this abandoned circuit city in accordance with the just but like they're trading insults and
Toby.
And
I'm sorry, did I ruin your joke?
She'll hurl an insult at one of the werewolves, and then one of the werewolves will say something back to her, and she looks like she'll turn to the camera and look fully offended. She does that like 9 times in that episode. Like she's calling them just the worst things ever, and if anybody claps back at her, she's just like,
Yeah.
I love Nadja. She's just hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Well, when she has to eventually get Laszlo and Nandor out of the animal services.
Right.
So good.
And she's just like, what's the code to the door? And the guy tells her.
Really? He's like, really?
Poor Nandor. He's always coming up with excuses as to why his hypnotism isn't working. He just sucks at it.
He's just bad at it. Yeah. He's good at other things. He's not good at hypnotism.
You put an axe in his hand, he's second to none.
That's just not his gift.
Yeah. We learned some of his other qualities in other seasons, I guess, too. But, he's also not good at faking his way through a citizenship test. So
no, he.
Thanks, Peadar.
Yeah, I love the the government workers basically can't be hypnotized.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Like the joke works both ways because they're dead inside, or Nandor just sucks at hypnotism.
Right.
He did manage to call out through the ether to Doug Peterson, though.
So through the ether. Did you call me master?
Yeah, so good.
No, if I call you, it won't be through the ether.
I'm just yelling. Regular yelling.
Laszlo seems to have the gift, though, for the memory modification.
Yeah.
He's graded with Sean.
But of course, he's the greatest at that.
Human form.
That?
The human form part was funny. I don't think I noticed him saying human form the first time.
Does the bat actually say human form? That's what I want to know.
One time
probably.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
So why would you walk home when you can turn into a bat?
Yeah.
I love the reveal about Laszlo and Jeff, though.
Yeah.
Sorry, Laszlo and Gregor. Laszlo and Gregor. Sorry.
Gregor.
Every time he pops up, he makes you sad, darling, and I won't have that.
That's real. You know what, though? Say what you want. That's real love between those two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they'll sleep with anything that walks.
Yeah.
And maybe a few things that only swim.
You haven't seen any.
But, their 2 comments about the Baron were very funny.
Yeah.
Lots of acrobatic stuff. I'm really looking forward to reading this.
But their love, Laszlo professing of their love will just kill the mood of a vampire orgy.
Oh yeah. So funny.
But they do, that is a genuine thing going on there. And as ridiculous as this show is, I do feel like those 2 characters do genuinely love each other. Now, they've been married for hundreds of years, so they roll their eyes at each other sometimes, and he's going to wear the hat whether she likes it or not.
Oh God,
the hat! Oh my God,
what's that feeling? It's the witch's asshole.
Yeah.
And anyone who has been married for a long time. You know, when you're going out or whatever with your significant other and they wear that one thing that you just like, I am going to throw that away when you're not looking. You know, that t-shirt you wore in high school that's a little bit too tight, or
it keeps crawling back, literally.
It keeps, you know, sometimes I felt like those jeans have kept crawling back. They just keep showing up. Like they go out and dig them out of the trash or something. But that is a very, very accurate marriage thing.
I think that hat may have a curse on it.
Yeah. They're running from the explosion, but then he finds it, you know, at the hospital
and almost kills Guillermo with it.
Right.
Was it Guillermo's? I don't think it was Guillermo's room.
No, it was.
It was.
Guillermo.
Because of the other thing. Yeah. Because of the other thing. Yeah. But did you hear the beeping of who I assume is? I guess I don't know who it would have been because it wouldn't have been one of the vampires necessarily in the other hospital bed.
It was right outside Guillermo's room.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm just. I did watch all of season 1 last night in one go. So, well, 2.
I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you.
I thought I knew that scene. Apparently, you know, my 8th watch
I
through
didn't get
or whatever.
It the first time, but I did the second.
Oh yeah, non-stop butt machine. Yes. It's a sex swing, not a sex net. That's the sex net.
Yeah, keep it up there on the ceiling.
Yeah. I love when Nandor comes out and he's got like the things
that
on his sides that are seats with dildos on them.
It's almost like armor.
What's going on here?
It's like armor that he has with these.
Yeah,
I'm not even
So
sure.
good. It's so
like
good.
Steampunk armor meets a sex shop. I'm not.
Well, yeah, we all wonder why he wasn't in the show for like 5 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden he makes this grand entrance where all he's wearing is like leather underwear and a bunch of
a dildo harness.
Yeah, like just dildos.
By the way, welcome to those who are just joining us.
Yeah,
right. This is we do try to keep it classy. We do try to keep it classy.
Yeah, non-stop butt machines.
And you arrived on dildo harness, so good on you. Oh, that's another good one.
Father was talking about when he was resting his hands on them,
just like they're his weapons.
So full disclosure, Sarah and I play in a D&D game together. We played yesterday morning, and
Nessie too.
Oh yeah, I guess Nessie's there.
Yeah, me too. Hi.
She's just our cleric.
She's just our cleric.
Yeah.
John doesn't play with us. He's not allowed.
I don't know.
But we got to talking about, this is how she got the last minute invite to come on and talk about this, because we're talking about doing it, and she's like a super fan, so I'm like, hey, here it comes. And we got her. Ladies and gentlemen, we got her.
Got him.
But you were talking about that, like they were filming that scene, and the actor didn't even realize he was resting his hands on the 2 dildos strapped to his
I don't know if he even realized. Yeah.
Right.
Or maybe he did. Who knows?
It's just a natural, relaxing place to put your hands. It's just, but it
That's so funny.
And then, of course, you had Colin Robinson and
amazing.
And it's just
so good. Like he spent all day, I guess, in that outfit.
We're all leaving, so it's just the 4 of us.
Right, so it's just the 4 of us. The fact that because vampires don't have a reflection, and
they can't use mirrors.
They can't use mirrors, which is like obligatory, and apparently Laszlo would know these things. So just to have Guillermo, this very shy, introverted,
dumpy little guy
up on a stepladder with a bullhorn to describe the acts that he is witnessing, for the benefit of the other vampires, so they can kind of get off on it.
Like, the vampires in the moment are providing quite a display of fantastic lovemaking going on.
Yeah, a visual reference.
So good.
And poor Guillermo,
He's just like, I can't.
I just love the fact that he's like, I was raised Catholic. And he's
Yeah.
serving vampires.
How does that even work?
Oh,
Oh, thank you, Shar.
yeah.
Appreciate you, Shar. Yeah, do like the lady said. She's a smart lady. Hit that like button.
But,
Oh, sorry. Yeah. And every time I'm looking down, it's just that I'm looking at the chat.
I got you. It is what it is.
But, you know, Guillermo's got to do what he's got to do because, you know, he's going to get turned into a vampire one of these days.
One day,
right?
yeah, like it's going to happen.
you know, he has a lot of moral questions that he has to like constantly keep asking himself. You know, he's constantly questioning his, you know, whether, you know, when he has to go out and procure people for, you know, his housemate or the vampires, and you know, particularly the one that, you know, is his actual, probably one of his only friends, you know, and he basically gonna sacrifice them to the vampires, you know, for the offhand chance maybe he'll get turned into a vampire one day.
Just being a good familiar, maybe not a good friend.
But he's like questioning, is he a familiar or is he a Renfield? Which, you know, in the Dracula stories,
or is he a Van Helsing?
Or is he a Van Helsing?
Well, we find that out
That
in episode 10. That
very
he's not real, though, right?
That reveal at the end of season 1 is just, you know,
so perfect.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with that.
Oh yeah, they are going to take that ball and run. But he's like bumbles into killing 2 vampires. Right?
Yeah.
You know, like he had fries, crispy critters, the Baron, the Barren.
He puts up a fire with holy water.
And yes, accidentally throws holy water on his master.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's in the, you know, and pushes the one guy from the council onto the stake in the hallway that he broke. Like he broke the light off, made the stake, and then, you know, throws the guy on that. So
Ludwig. Yeah. It's like, watch your step. I don't have to. I glide. I love her.
Oh my god. So, like, that is my favorite episode of season 1.
The Baron's Night Out.
So many reasons. What's it called? The Vampire Council, the trial.
Yeah, with the Vampiric Council.
Right.
Oh my god, yes.
Is an actress who I have loved from the first time I ever saw her anything. She's so funny. I think her comedic timing is pretty flawless.
Her stand-up is
she's
good
a
too.
weirdo.
Yep. And
she used to host a stand-up show in Brooklyn every week, like 15 years ago. And when she and Kurt Braunohler moved to California, then it was gone. And I was like, oh, it's so good. Because just watching her for like the little bits in between everybody was great. But obviously she's wonderful in everything she's been in.
Yeah. The tongue-in-cheek references to all of the members of the Vampire Council, you know, just giving nods. Like they've all played vampires in other forms. Like, oh, it's Blade. Oh, look, it's Machete. Really? You know,
I love that they kept Paul Rubens from the original movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer. His little scene at the end of the movie is so great.
Yeah, that little like post-credit scene where he's like,
yeah, love him.
And the baby vampire
was there. Movie. Yeah, like that is the greatest cameo, sort of like multi-cameo scene I've ever seen in a movie. It's just, like they got every movie vampire they could get. And
they named the other ones that they couldn't. Like all the guys from Interview with the Vampire.
The vampire wasn't there. You couldn't get Antonio. You know, we couldn't get...
Guillermo dressed up as Antonio Banderas, though, as a kid, is like...
That is so
funny. And it's not Harvey Guillen in the picture. It's some child that the casting director found that looked enough like him to dress up as like preteen Guillermo as Armand. Oh yeah. Exactly.
It's just, but like the mundanity of it and the way they introduce. So I wrote down everyone I could recognize. Okay. Tilda Swinton. She was in a movie, Only Lovers Left Alive, I think was the name of it, where she was a vampire. Paul Rubens, obviously from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Wesley Snipes from Blade. Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guy played Deacon in the movie as well.
Okay, I don't know that person, but like I get you.
He's also from New Zealand. Yeah,
they're the New Zealand vampires. I got you. Danny Trejo from Dusk Till Dawn.
Dusk Till Dawn. Yep.
Evan Rachel Wood from Vampire Diaries.
No, she was in True Blood.
No, True Blood. There you go.
Yeah, she was like the queen or something.
And then
she had some name. I forget.
And then they mentioned Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Kiefer Sutherland, and Robert Pattinson.
Right?
Oh, yeah. They didn't get anybody from Twilight at all.
I didn't see. They said Rob. She mentions Rob. I can't think of another Rob.
Yeah, but I mean, like on this, like so I've never seen any Twilight because I refuse. But was Michael Sheen one of the vampires? I would have loved to see him in that scene, or was he a different guy in that movie? Because he was in it. He was in Twilight, and he's silly enough to have done that. Done this show.
He wasn't in this.
Yeah. The other Twilight reference was when they were with the werewolf.
Oh no, I'm just saying I would have liked him.
Okay, I'm seeing some yeses in the chat, so I'm assuming.
So he was in Twilight playing a vampire, and I think if they would have asked him and he would have been available, he would have gladly done this scene,
which would have been hilarious because considering he also plays a werewolf in Underworld.
Oh yeah,
so.
With his wife or ex-wife, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's several Twilight references in this first season, like when they're battling the werewolf.
Creepy paper.
The werewolf who's one of the first citizens, first people, and he's like, no, not all first people are werewolves. I just happen to be one.
Right.
But like oh god, I can't think of his real name. I only think of him as Dave from Flight of the Conchords. Arch Barker is the first guy, and he's like, well, I'm Indian because my dad's from India, which is, I think, true in his case. But he's like, but also then they go over to the guy who's Native American, and he's like, that's not why.
That's not why. It's not an ethnic thing.
And then I love the guy that says he's Caribbean Canadian, and then just goes Saskatoon, Emma. So good.
And then the other guy's like, and I'm Caucasian.
Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, that's Chad.
Chad, yes.
Of course it's Chad.
I'm surprised his name wasn't like Todd.
Kyle. Yeah, but just the cast of the people that they were able to pull just for this first season of this campy, wickedly smart, just incredibly well-written show that they were able to pull all these people in.
You have to be really smart to write something that stupid. And I'm hearing background. Is somebody... Rock's wrestling a bear again. I got you.
Okay. Yeah. She's taking care of it.
Yeah.
What was I
She's going to go drop the elbow on him. And
well, I feel like it was probably a lot of these people maybe that came to this scene especially, or that show up in various episodes or in episodes in future seasons maybe. The movie had been out for several years by that time, and people really fell in love with it. Taika and Jermaine have worked with tons of people. I mean, it was nice to see, like, they had Arch Barker from Flight of the Conchords, and they had Kristen Schaal from there. They didn't have Rhys Darby, but he does show up briefly in the movie. I'm waiting for more cameos from people in other various parts of their
full disclosure,
careers.
I know Jermaine from basically just Flight of the Conchords songs.
Oh, the show is so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it is, but it's one of those
so
things
cute.
Yeah.
I'm like legit embarrassed, and I can't believe I'm gonna just admit this. Like, I did not know that Jermaine Clement was from Flight of the Conchords. I don't know.
He's the bassist.
Like, I don't know the band. I never watched the show. What I knew him from was Legion, which he was on, and he's incredible in that. But through this show, I learned, his background and stuff.
He's also the voice of the blinged out crab in Moana.
Mm-hmm. He's and if you look at Taika's history, the movies that he's directed, Jermaine was in one, Eagle versus Shark, which is really cute, which I think is possibly even still available on one of the streaming services I have. And I can't remember if he's been in a different one with him, but I'm not sure. But yeah, no, Flight of the Conchords is quality.
Yeah, I'll send you a couple of links to my favorite song. I think
I should have worn my T-shirt. I have a Too Many Dicks on the Dance Floor T-shirt, and I went and I saw them in concert a few years ago when they were here in the city.
My favorites are
they were fun.
It's a song called Issues. I don't know.
Can't remember.
I'll find it.
I'm better with the songs that they eventually incorporated into season 1 versus songs from other parts of their career, because I watched I had that soundtrack basically.
The Humans Are Dead.
Yeah,
it's a great song. And then Hip Hopopotamus and Rhinoceros.
I like Inner City Pressure.
Okay. Anyway, go check out Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, it's quality.
Jermaine Clement, it took me I did not recognize him on my first watch.
I mean, it's from a while ago.
Well, and his hair is long, and he's got like a fake beard on or something. And I'm used to seeing him.
Oh yeah, he's got the facial hair. Yeah. But he plays Vladislav in the movie. That's his character's name, and it's great. I'm trying to think of things that we haven't talked about yet about season 1. I know earlier on, Kate mentioned in the chat the episode with Vanessa Bayer, where Colin meets an emotional vampire. Oh. It's so good. She's so wonderful as that character. Yes, exactly, Ed. And I'm trying to think of other episodes we haven't yet mentioned.
But the energy vampires kind of get a bad rap throughout the show, right? Even though they're, quote, the evolved form of the vampire species, there's kind of that little bit of friction there that, Colin is not, of course, because he's Colin and not pleasant to be around anyway. Yeah. He's just always kind of pushed out to, the outskirts of the group dynamics. They don't really include him in, like the group meeting. Oh, there's a house meeting. It's like he's always the last to know about things. And, so it was kind of cool to see, another energy vampire, which in this case is an emotional vampire, an evolved form of the energy vampire. So, and we probably all met one or two and didn't know it. But just to see.
Some of us might be one and not have realized it until we watched the show this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm a recovering psychic vampire.
Just the fact that, there's this dichotomy between the two forms of the vampires is kind of cool. But yet he shows up as the representative of the local area on the vampire council. I guess he was
exactly. And they're like
trial. And he just finds himself at home in city council meetings, which, John, I mean, you probably
I remember watching this the first time. I was like, oh my God, I feel this in my bones.
Right.
Especially when Colin gets up to speak, I'm like, oh dear God, it's no wonder I feel so drained at every council meeting because I've watched that like a million times.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the city council just like it's so perfect of a rendition of what that must be like.
Well, what the best part is though when Nandor gets up to speak and he's raving and talking about you will submit to my rule, and then the reply from the council is this is just for ordinance, whatever.
This is just zoning. Today. You can come back.
You need to come back for general,
check our calendar on the website. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, that is like such, a perfect representation of what a city council meeting is, because you get these people come up who are just, I'll say it, God, I hope nobody from my work is watching this, but you get people come up who are raving lunatics, and then the council just has to respond by like, yes, we'll be having general comment after this.
The only other depiction of that sort of thing that I've seen that was really well done was like occasionally they showed that sort of thing in Parks and Recreation.
Okay, hold on. There's some confusion in the chat. I just want to clear some stuff up. We're talking about all of season 1. We are not covering it chronologically. We're all over the place because it's easier to talk about the moments that are really moving us. And this isn't a show where the plot progresses a whole lot. We're just meandering through. But somebody was also asking, is the city council thing from season 1? It absolutely is. It's second episode of the whole show, and it is. Barbara. It's hilarious because you can feel like.
I love Laszlo playing like the chanter.
Mm-hmm.
Using his hypnosis on the raccoons.
On the raccoons. And just like, what would you think if you found a pile of dead raccoons on your doorstep?
Yeah.
That would be terrifying, right?
Right. Yeah. Like, what the hell? I would think
some people would just get a stew going.
I would think my cat had a wild night, Yeah.
You'd be like, well, got to take the cat to a vet for an extra rabies shot, I guess. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, and Nessie, I like that you changed your display name a couple of times. Originally, it was the Relentless, and now it's of Antipaxos, which is where Nadja is from. I don't know if they talk about that on season 1 or not.
Just when I heard Simon the Devious naming his crew, and one of them was Steve, I'm just like, yep, all right.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I forgot about Evil Steve. And that's Len, my accountant.
Vlad, that guy's a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about
her name's S, but that's because her name's Sarah.
Right.
She's like in a pretzel. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Simon the Devious. He's kind of set up to be sort of like a nemesis character for these guys. He's powerful. He came over on the boat the same time they did. He had the same opportunities that they did, except he went to Manhattan Island and Manhattan instead of Staten Island, I guess. But he's built
our
quite
street and Ashley Street.
Our street and part of Ashley Street.
Yeah.
Like so I could listen to Nandor read me the phone book though.
Oh, he's so good with his little. I like in the very first episode where he's like, there was a lot of pillaging and killing, and people be like, "Oh, please don't pillage me," and be like, "I am pillaging everyone, even you, including you." It was so good.
Like an equal opportunity pillager.
Yeah, exactly. And I like
very
that we find out his
egalitarian that
age
way.
too. He was born in 1262, so he's.
And his country went away in 1401.
Yeah.
but he had quite a bit of progeny.
Yeah.
So he did leave his mark.
He left his mark. Well, he did have 37 wives
37
already.
wives,
Yeah.
35 of
only
which he
one.
loved.
Yes, the other
37
two.
women.
So yeah. I don't know. But yeah, like we talk about him being probably the dumbest one of the vampires. But like at the same time, I mean, he's got to be good at something because he's 850 years old at this point. So he's survived. Is it 850 or no, 750?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure Laszlo would like to think he's smarter than Nandor, but I think it's kind of an
No,
even
Laszlo proves
toss-up.
that he's not exactly the smartest either many times throughout the series.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we'll see.
He
I
likes
don't
to
know.
think that he has street smarts.
Yeah, like Nandor, he's the one that stepped in to stop the all-out brawl on the front lawn.
The squeaky toy.
I mean, that was
like,
probably
he's got
his
a moment.
smartest move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's pretty smart in the way he deals with the werewolf, you know.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the
That's kind
fight.
of like, military tactics. And,
Yeah.
I can kind of see where that's where his mindset is.
He's been a leader in the past. He couldn't have been
But
completely inept.
I guess the right term is they're all anachronisms.
Very
Yeah.
much so.
Like they are so far out of their own time. I think Manhattan.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that's the original native name.
I believe that it would be. I mean, I believe you when you say that, but
Yeah.
just the way that.
Yeah, the way he says a lot of different things with his.
Very archaic
Yeah.
pronunciation.
He's just so like overly dramatic too. Like there's one point where he's trying to blame Laszlo for something, and it doesn't just point at him, but he's like,
Yeah.
These big sweeping movements, like he's a theater actor, and it's just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. I don't know if you guys have encountered any of it, but also during season 2, which aired, I guess, during the beginning of the pandemic, Harvey Guillen started a YouTube channel where he interviewed various people involved with the show. And at one point,
Guillermo?
yes, that's Guillermo. Yeah. And I think they were talking about one time that, like, I guess some of the stuff in the show is a little bit improvised just because you've got actors that are capable of doing so. And it might have been one of the producers that was talking about how, like, sometimes the improvised stuff gets included, like, and stays in the final show, like that Matt Berry improvised the line, "He's as mad as a wax banana," when they were talking about Baron Afanas when he was like drunk and in the store going like, "Food, slave." That episode's great. Doug Jones is so amazing as Baron Afanas.
I did not realize that was Doug Jones. You just made my freaking day.
If you look after you've watched the whole show, look up Harvey Guillen talking to him about playing that character on his YouTube thing.
He plays a character called Saru in Star Trek Discovery, which is a show that I love. He's in pretty heavy prosthetics in that as well. Like you cannot recognize.
Well, yeah, he very often is. I mean,
yeah, he's this guy in Pan's Labyrinth.
Okay,
and he's in Hellboy, Shape of Water. Yeah, and
yeah.
He works a lot with Guillermo
del Toro. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool,
but like, and then when you see him without all the makeup on, you're like, oh, that's why you're so perfect. As these characters, he's like 6'5" and 120,
and very thin.
Yeah. But just like these amazing arms to do all of this stuff.
I love when he comes out of the coffin and then he just stops dead in his tracks because he sees the camera crew and they're like, "Oh, this is a documentary crew. They're not even here." And he's like, "They're filming me."
I remember him having genitals. No, he never did.
And the first thing Baron does when he wakes up is he just grabs, Laszlo and Nadja's familiar and just,
R.I.P. June.
And that's another running thing with those guys is like they can never keep a familiar. Not because Guillermo is not their familiar. He's Nandor's familiar, and Nandor's very protective-ish of Guillermo. But Laszlo and Nadja are just like, we'll get another. Or, the bookcase falls on their favorite familiar, and it's just a running thing with these guys that it's not only they can't get good help, they can't keep good help alive.
That's such a great joke because like after the Baron, eats the first familiar, you don't see the next familiar until they're crushed by a bookcase because Laszlo is wearing that damn hat.
Right.
You never even know.
And falls through the floor. How do you not realize it's cursed? But like, if we're going by D&D rules, like, and you attune to a cursed item, like you don't want to give it up.
No, you got to break that curse, man.
Yep, that's there's work to be done there.
That little sphincter is just giving him kisses on the back of his neck.
Oh God, Nessie, did you have to?
Yum yum. Sit with that imagery for a while.
Oh yeah.
That's a big thing. There's lots of fan art about that ship, Anna.
Like, I mean, and having watched all 3 seasons, I'm like, Nandor, do you not see like the key to your happiness is like right there? Just that, that's what you're looking for. Poor guy.
I was just looking at the random stuff that I wrote down while I was watching them again. There was a brief part in one of the episodes where they were talking about how like there was even vampire controlled media and stuff, and Nadja was talking about, well, my favorite show is Priests Falling Over.
Right.
Like, it's so good. I never had caught that in all of my watch throughs until yesterday. So, and that was, a minute or two before she goes, and there'll be a sign, no nuns, none.
None. I love the accent she puts on for it, and like.
Yeah, well, I think her extended family is from Crete, so it's probably a known accent to her. Just like I think Kayvon's extended family is from Persia, so it's a more familiar accent for himself. But he's really known for doing lots of different characters from his own show that he had years ago.
Right on.
There's a moment in the premiere when Nadja starts, following Jest, and you hear, this creepy gothic music, and and then it cuts to Laszlo, playing it. And he's like, I call this Nadja's theme, and it's just such a.
It's just him playing extremely long chords on the organ. There's not really even a real rhythm to it.
Just as someone who loves, music and
right.
film and television stores like me, I just got a huge laugh out of that. It's great.
Yeah, like those meta moments in this show, just so good.
He considers himself quite the musician.
Yeah, it'll come back.
As well as quite the pornographer.
Yeah,
the Seinfeld port was so funny. What are these pagers? I'm always paging. The jeans, but the 90s jeans and like the exact sneakers. Oh my God, it was so good. Okay.
It's just so boring.
Yeah.
The whole porn montage of his was just,
I drink that drug blood. Yes, I drink that drug blood.
Oh, so good. That and Now I'm a Wizard is a very useful.
Oh my God! When they drank the drug wine,
the whole episode with the night out with the Baron.
Yeah.
The Baron's night out is probably like the most wackadoodle of all.
Yeah, it really is.
The outfit he wore when he first came down. Oh my God!
Like, are you
2 ruffs is too much.
2 ruffs don't make it right.
Yeah. So good.
So Colin Robinson dresses him up in his like Mr. Robinson, you know, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood outfit, you know. So that's interesting. And they go to a bowling alley for fuck's sake. It's just, you know, it's just the most, I guess, maybe Staten Island night out. I don't know what people in Staten Island do. Do they go to the bowling alley and hit the dive bars? Is that what they do? Sing karaoke?
I mean,
Apparently,
you
yeah.
get a little bit of everything in Staten Island. I've only been there a handful of times.
He's like, how about some shots? And then they go into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then not just like,
I
guess we can do
the
shots. And then she goes and she gets like a paper towel. Napkin.
If people are interested in what Staten Island is like, they should look up a recent SNL music video featuring Pete Davidson, which talks about, it's called Walking in Staten. It's based on the song Walking in Memphis. And it's very good. And it basically just talks about how there's tons of pizza and bagel places. And I guess that is a certain theme that we don't necessarily explore in what we do in the shadows, but that's because it's filmed in Toronto and not Staten Island.
But I like that he had to have a slice of pizza.
Oh, he's like, the garlic slightly burns. And then he's projectile vomiting that like just throws him all over the place.
He looks like a cylinder of pressurized gas that had the top knocked off of it. Just like he is soaring through the air like a rocket.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then you just see his familiar.
Yeah, just her creepy self. She's
who doesn't talk until the trial.
Yeah, she's like, don't worry, she doesn't talk. She speaks perfect English.
Talking now?
I'm surprised that they had the Baron speaking any English, because they did imply that he never leaves the old country. You know, they don't necessarily name it, but we can make assumptions. And then, of course, his familiar is apparently an American woman, but you know, it's fine. Continuity isn't the number one thing you need to worry about.
Yeah, now this show is ruined now.
Yeah,
I don't believe it anymore.
It jumped the shark at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm like, wow. I mean, this is not believable at all. I love when the Baron uses his like scary voice, though, every once in a while, where it's just like silence, but you know, obviously much scarier than that. And I love the joke that you know, he has no genitals, so when he takes his pants off in the bar. They're like, perhaps you should put your pants back on.
Put your pants back on.
He's not really a Baron.
That's not the craziest thing they've seen in that bar. Apparently.
Yeah, the plague. Remember how much fun that was?
Oh, yeah.
So I'll tell you what, guys, we've been going for about an hour. What do you say we do a mid-roll real quick, and then we come back better than ever?
Okay.
So, yeah, this is the mid-roll. This is the part where we fight the good fight against the YouTube algorithm, like my good friend Cassie just did. She popped in to give a like. So yeah, you do the same if you would. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I think everybody I've seen in the chat is subscribed, but if you're watching this later and you enjoy what we're doing here, come back. We'll cover more of what we do in the shadows later. But next week is something special. Next Sunday is my birthday.
Oh, happy name day.
Yeah, I'm turning old. And we are
turning young, Stephen.
We are going to do a retro review of my favorite movie of all time, The Empire Strikes Back.
You don't like that movie, do you?
Yes, I love that movie. I'm good. Like, I'm gonna rewatch it at least once, if not twice, this coming week. And it'll be me and John, and I'll see who else I can find. It's my birthday, so I can do a little extra arm twisting on certain people. But it's my birthday. But yeah, we'll be talking some Star Wars, my favorite Star Wars movie. Now, a week after that, John, you won't be here, so it'll be me and Nessie doing something.
And it'll be good.
And it'll be good. We'll know more soon. Stay tuned.
It'll be something John absolutely hates.
But we've got conversations about, after that, we've got some Lord of the Rings stuff coming, some Expanse, probably talk The Witcher. Yeah, so we've got a lot of good stuff coming up.
And then eventually we'll get to the final season of Star Wars Rebels.
We will. Like, I love this show, so I'm going to be pushing for it. Basically, the next Unspoken for weekend that we come across, we'll be sticking what we do in the shadows. It'll probably be sometime in mid to late January, but yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 more seasons to cover.
Talk some NCU while John is gone. Yeah, maybe so. Shang-Chi. I love that movie.
That would be the time to do it.
Yep. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Oh my God. Thing is, like, we're already doing 2 movie reviews in December, so we'll see. We'll see. But Nessie, are you coming back with Magical Menagerie soon?
We'll be after the first of the year.
Okay, so keep your eyes peeled. Nessie's coming back with more mythology goodness over there on the Unspun Yarn. John, you've got a big panel of folks coming up next Saturday, right?
Yep, it's we're going to be talking the Hobbit trilogy. So I'll be having Helen the Clueless Fangirl, Aaron, Dan, otherwise known as Voice of Geekdom, Kelly, and Carol Brown will be coming on the stream. So it'll be mostly the crew from last year's Lord of the Rings streams, and we're going to tackle the whole of the Hobbit, saga in one stream, like it probably should be.
Right. You can read that book in an afternoon, but you can't watch the movie about it in an afternoon.
I have not read it nor seen any of them.
Oh. Shame on you.
Yeah, no, I can understand the movies being a bit much, because even
I'd love to see the movies. There's people that I like in it, so I just haven't.
But yeah, no, the book is a classic, definitely.
Yeah, I never had to read it, unlike a lot of people that I know. Like, they actually read it as part of class growing up, and I just never did. And there were people that know me that know that I read extremely, extremely slowly. Even something as short as The Hobbit, like, I'd have to actually start it, let alone finish it. So we'll see.
I don't know if we will do Wheel of Time. I talked about it on a friend's channel about a week ago, or not even, no, it was Friday. 2 days ago? Is that right? What even is time? But yes, 2 days ago I was on my friend Cecilia's channel, Geeksterelia, and we talked about Wheel of Time there. Maybe she'll talk about it again. I don't think we're going to cover it here, just because John hasn't watched it, hasn't expressed much desire to watch it.
And from that, even if I did it, like, we are pretty jam packed with
except for
stuff.
the one weekend where Nessie and I don't know what we're doing. We're pretty booked.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, we're probably not going to do Wheel of Time. If we do, it'll be like February before we could get to it, probably. So we'll see. Sarah, are you got anything coming up, or just? I know you have. This is not the first time you've guested as somebody's guest somewhere, though, right?
The only other time I've been on camera is every once in a while I help out on the Citadel of Trivia on Friday nights.
Okay.
But usually I'm just playing because I'm strangely competitive. Even if it's just like 8 people, I'm just like, I have to win. I have to win this internet trivia that doesn't matter. But yeah, right. Every once in a while, they like having guest hosts on, and I'll help out, which means that there's one less player, but it means that the people who volunteer to do this every time, for zero money and zero notoriety, don't have to do quite as much work. 2 things.
One fewer player. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I know. #Stannis, yes.
Yeah. And
I'm
two,
normally the person making that correction, so it's fine.
right. It's almost a meme thing for me to say at this point. I say fewer when people say less correctly.
Oh yeah.
So like, oh,
It's
there's
fine.
less traffic today, and I'll be like, fewer.
Yeah, since I
Yeah.
was saying one
But
less,
at
exactly
any
one
rate,
fewer.
but you also did the Citadel of Trivia when they covered what we do in the shadows. Is that correct?
Well, I suggested the topic of vampires for the trivia that week,
Okay.
mainly as an excuse to be able to do both seasons of the show and the movie as my categories. And I
Okay.
even shared with Stephen yesterday the questions I wrote for season 1. I made the questions pretty easy because I knew not a lot of people had watched the show a million times like I had. And going through and making the questions for season 1 and the movie 2 allowed me to figure out that there's quite a few little things that almost seem like parallels to Song of Ice and Fire. So either Jermaine Clement is a Song of Ice and Fire fan, or it's just a coincidence. But yeah, I mean, Nandor rhymes with Sandor, so obviously he's my favorite. And we got Gregor, and then in the movie we got Peadar, that's spelled like everybody's favorite pervert, Peadar Baelish.
Everybody's favorite little finger.
Yeah. Everybody's favorite creepy uncle.
Yeah.
Peadar. But Peadar, I like Peadar in the movie much more than I like Peadar Baelish. No offense, Aidan Gillen. Yeah.
You're not supposed to like Peadar Baelish, so
yeah, he does a great job at making you still hate that
just
character.
like you're not supposed to like Colin Robinson.
Yeah,
No, I like Colin.
There's reasons to like him eventually.
I mean,
but that's his purpose, though. His purpose is to make you not like him.
Exactly.
Even as an energy vampire, that helps him accomplish his goals.
Right. Like the actor is killing it, and I find the character hilarious because he is so annoying. Like he's turned up to 11, next level annoying.
Well, he can even drain the other vampires too, so they're like they can't even like him. They're like the power's growing in him.
I keep thinking like,
that one grows stronger by the night.
Yeah, exactly. When he zaps the two kids from the LARP group.
Hey!
Shots fired by
no. But
as if I haven't feared that on my own enough.
He essentially saved Jenna and Jonathan's lives by draining them.
Right.
No nutritional value left here.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, I mean, that was sort of how Colin figured out that Evie was an emotional vampire, was that he couldn't get anything from anyone because they'd already been drained by her.
Been drained.
But she was so great at just going from to
like
in every scene.
You see him being like really bland and pedantic, and then he'd walk away and he's like, and his eyes are glowing and everything.
Oh yeah.
What was it like when they were at the city council meeting and
he's like
everything is going off the rails and they're all getting up to leave and he's like, I can't stand up right now, if you know what I mean.
Good.
Oh, and the same thing when he was when they were at the funeral service, for Nandor's 5 times great granddaughter or whatever.
Yeah, times 34 or whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just getting off on all the suffering.
But then at a certain point, he's like, yeah, I'm married now. I'd rather be watching TV.
Yeah. You'll love the way they expand Colin's methods and everything else in the next season too, Stephen. I'm giving nothing away by just saying that.
Like, I hate him. I love him because I hate him.
Yeah.
Like, he's so annoying. But it's so funny the way he's annoying. Because we've all known that kind of person who can't get a clue and, like, go away. I'm busy. Like, I don't care. And you're trying to be nice, but they just keep droning on about the thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
an argument about Q-tips. Like,
Uh-huh.
all the most.
You're gonna hate me, but I'm gonna switch my position on this today.
Right. Or Evie's
So good.
like,
What's really
like
terrifying. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
just the way that Evie, nothing comes out of her mouth that isn't designed to make you feel sorry for her. Like, that's all she wants is you to pity her. Because it's so because you want to wring her neck too by the end of it.
Oh yeah. Oh, my boyfriend just broke up with me.
I am calling about my dry cleaning.
But no, what's I'm gonna go ahead and admit it, and I feel really bad about this, but the parts that show Colin like hovering and talking to his co-workers.
Yeah, when they're having the battle.
There was a period of like hovering over his regular co-workers, just droning on about stuff. There was a period of time where not about the stuff he's talking about, but about like nerdy stuff. That was me.
Yeah.
And, and that was watching this was a moment of self-reflection.
We got Jolie to start watching.
Yeah,
good.
God.
Good.
It's
Hope
brilliant.
you enjoy it.
You're gonna you'll love the humor.
But I also love when they meet face to face, looking down the alley between the cubicles at night, and they start spewing their crap at each other and floating up in the air. And it's so funny, man. It's vampire battle, but with just like being annoyed versus pity. Oh, it's so
I like when he's like, since I've just known her, like 17 cats have died and she's lost 6 sets of grandparents. The best is when she's like ding 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 on her like lamp. So just so you guys know, I can't afford the treatment for my cat. So it looks like I'm going to be living in my cubicle because my boyfriend won't let me move in with him because he says it's too fast. Or something.
That was
so
the bridge
good.
too far. That was the bridge too far for him. Because it was right after that, he's like, no, it's got to end. You can't make me look that bad. He's got to be able to approach people still.
Right. Now, everybody's shooting daggers at him and everything. And he's like, oh, you just cut my food supply in half.
Well, yeah. He's already having to find alternative sources of nourishment, I guess.
So I wrote down a couple of my favorite quotes. And I didn't realize this at the time, but most of them are from Nadja. But when they're like, the first joke in the whole show that made me literally laugh out loud was they're talking about, the Baron is coming, and they're like, we should get the carriage drawn by 12 black alligators. Right. And it's just like, alligators is not what you're expecting to hear at all. And then of course there's like, it's a lot of alligators, a lot of pain.
Yeah.
There's a lot of alligators.
Guillermo's like, what about a van? Can the van be black?
Yeah, it's just they settle on a black van, but just 12 black alligators. And just, who writes that? Somebody had that mental image.
Yes.
Or it could, we don't know if that could have even been improvised.
Right. So maybe is her name? Oh, I know her name.
Her real name?
Yes. Don't tell me.
Okay, I won't.
Natasha?
Yes.
Okay.
Natasha Demetriou. Yeah.
Right. She's hilarious. Let's be honest. She was my favorite character, at least so far through season 1. Because I love her reaction. I love her when she's drunk and she's talking to the camera, when they're on drug blood and she's talking to the camera. She's so subtle in some of the
I love her at the college party.
Yeah, I didn't get to rewatch that episode, so
Or she's
That's
just
where
bossing around the guy.
she's training
But-
her baby.
Yeah, training her baby to hunt and stuff.
Do any of these humans look tasty to you now?
Yeah.
Do they look yummy?
You're surrounded by a world of asshole. Take your pick. Like,
Yeah, because Jenna was like, well, I know that he's in my sociology class, and I know that's whatever. And she's like, they're all assholes.
all
They
terrible
treat you like
people.
crap.
Yeah, none of them were nice to her, so it's fine.
And can I just say, like, as much as I love Nadja, when I saw Beanie Feldstein on the show, I was immediately like, yes, give me more Beanie Feldstein all the time. She's my fan casting to play Squirrel Girl in the MCU.
Yeah, I feel obliged to tell you, just so you're not heartbroken, but she has not yet been in any of the other seasons of the show, probably because she got quite a bit more well known, like right after this with Booksmart. Yeah,
Booksmart really blew her up.
Yeah,
I mean,
but she's fantastic in this season.
I really enjoyed her character and watching that process of, you know, a lot of really great gags delivered out of that process of her, like, experimenting because she's in college and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like how she doesn't realize she's being turned into a vampire, and then she's at the art history class, and they show a piece of art with a crucifix in it, and she's like, yeah, she has to like leave because she's like on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'm slowly turning into a vampire.
Like she's looking at her reflection and it's like half transparent.
Mm-hmm. And her poor roommate, who finds her dead. You know,
Siri, call 911.
Oh, that was so good.
That one killed me when I saw it the first time.
That was perfect. What was I going to say?
Yes, Potter, that is what it is. It is a show about rogues. They are rogues. Nandor's kind of a fighter, but not just
Nandor, yeah, he's like a barbarian almost, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But your joke attempt is noted. Thank you, Sarah.
And you're not wrong.
Right. One of the things that Nadja says is it Jenna? Is that Beanie Feldstein's character?
Mm-hmm.
Jenna. She says Jenna's complaining about her friends, and Nadja says something to the effect of, "Someday they will all be dead, and you will do a shit on all of their graves."
Yeah.
I don't know why that got me, but it did.
It's so good.
And my maybe my favorite. Well, no, it's not. It's hard to pick a favorite, but if me and Laszlo were to ever have a child, I would like to think it would look like him. And she points at a freaking armadillo.
She's like small and hard.
Small and hard. Yes.
Yeah, like the way she decorated their sleeping quarters, their resting chambers, you know, where they slumber. And it's just creepy taxidermy everywhere.
There is. I hate this goat.
Yeah. And you know, and then Nandor opens the door on them and there's just two bats on the floor.
Yes, Danny.
What the hell am I even watching right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I mean,
it's so funny.
It's every scene. There is something ridiculously funny and compelling in every scene.
Every scene.
Well, do you remember when Guillermo is quizzing Nandor for his citizenship test? And then he's like, well, who is George Washington? And Nandor's like, America's first gay president. And Guillermo's like, just the first one. He's like, yes. Because obviously Nandor was already in America at the time, or at least knew him overseas or something. Knew of him. Because he's, 800 years old. But I was trying to think of I
just can't. I can't with this show, man. I'm super looking forward to season 2, season 3.
And there's even
There's a particular guest appearance that I can't wait for you to see
Oh yeah,
in season 2.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
Yeah, I like how they kind of pick fun at the Harry Potter a little bit as well. You know, they've got, you know, Guillermo, his room is the little cupboard under the stairs. You know, and when the Vampire Council is sending them messages, they're sending them ravens. You know, why did you respond? We sent you ravens.
We said 500 ravens.
Is somebody's Discord going off over and over again? Please don't.
Not me.
I don't think it's me.
It's not mine.
I keep hearing notifications.
Yeah, mine wouldn't. You wouldn't hear it because of the headphones.
Okay.
Even if it was going off.
I keep hearing it. I don't think it's mine. I muted mine, but anyway.
Yeah, I don't even have Discord, so yeah.
Yeah, I've muted most of my channels, so it's not that.
Yeah, my volume's off on everything. Anyhow.
Anywho's all. Yes, Kate mentioned the Dream Team. So good.
Might be mine.
Uh-oh. He'll be back.
Yeah. Nandor going to his citizenship meeting with the basketball uniform on, because that is what captured his, you know, allegiance, was the Dream
to America.
Team
Yeah.
To America. Was like, this guy, you guy.
Yeah.
Like everything he
So
does
good.
is just over the top ridiculous.
I'm trying to think of I love when Nandor is holding Guillermo in front of the mirror. So it looks like he's flying, and then of course eventually he does take him flying, and then drops him.
Yeah. At the end,
like, wait, what?
In the hospital, right? But like all those Nandor, Guillermo little private scenes, you know, those are so semi-sweet. You know, you kind of feel like Nandor's trying, but it kind of makes you wonder. You know, he's been as familiar now for 10 years, so why has he not? You know.
Yeah, but he doesn't even realize it's been 10 years.
Yeah, he thinks it's
right.
2.
It's like 2 years, right?
2 years of service, 10 years. 10 years.
Oh. What was I gonna just say?
Yeah, the werewolf was in season 1 with the squeaky toy.
So good. Yeah,
the squeaky toy.
Yeah.
Crit roll.
The thing is, like, yes,
can we keep the toy? Yeah.
So vampires are real in this show. Werewolves are real. Who knows what else is real? But they're all like lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're not actually good at anything necessarily.
Right.
Yeah, and the hat was made out of the skin of a witch, so you kind of
so apparently
and
Nadja
is very concerned about, you know, witches in the first season. She mentions it 2 or 3 times, I think, in season 1. So
yeah, and really warns Nandor about putting his semen out there.
Yeah,
I hope that you know, I hope that doesn't come back to
what other, this is from an episode and a bunch of stuff we already talked about, but people who know me know that, like, there are certain actors who I just love. Kristen Shaw is one of them. Tilda Swinton is one of them. And in that same episode, they have Dave Bautista as well.
Oh, yeah. Like, what was his name? Garrett?
Garrett the vampire.
The vampire.
And he got blamed for what Laszlo did.
Mm-hmm.
The poor baby into a vampire.
Yeah.
The book spent the last 90 years writing down what he is going to do to the person when he finds them.
Well, they think they've been there for hundreds of years already, and then
like 1,000 years. Yeah.
No, it's been 90 years. Yeah.
No, when I was rewatching this, as soon as I saw him there and remembered that he had a cameo in this, I was like, "Oh, Steven's gonna love that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Dave. He's great. I think he's a much better actor than a lot of people give him credit for. So
he's
he's
incredible.
incredibly funny.
yeah, I love him. And when he was he's got enough makeup on that it was or enough prosthetics on, it was a little difficult to maybe immediately recognize him. But the moment he spoke, I'm like, that voice, like there's no mistaking him.
Yeah, the only other thing I've seen him in is Dune. So
he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. He's in Blade Runner 2049. He did a James Bond movie.
I know he did Stuber with Kumail, which I also did not watch. But, I'm trying to think of.
I'm trying to find what vampire movie he had.
I don't think he.
I think he was just in there. Maybe he was in there because one of the Taika directed that episode. Maybe he knew him.
Yeah,
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. Because this was after the first Guardians movie, so they'd already worked together once.
Oh, okay, yeah. Then that was just he could just ask him, "Hey, you want to come by and do one day of filming? You want to fly to Toronto and appear in this show?" I'm just trying to think of anybody else that appeared in season 1. There's definitely more. Yeah, there's definitely more cameo, more appearances by other actors in season 2, including the one John mentioned.
I'm super looking forward to it.
This season is so good, but I feel like season 2 gets better, and season 3 is better for at least for different reason. They keep it's always better. It doesn't drop down at all.
Yeah. Spoilery, but yes, I hard agree with that, Sarah. The season 2 so far is
right. Favorite. Yeah, right now season 2 is my favorite, but I do need to rewatch.
Yeah, I've only seen season 3 one time.
Binging because it was really tough for me going from binging seasons 1 and 2 within 48 hours to having to wait a week between each episode in season 3. So
going through withdrawal. I need it.
So I feel like I need to see that season all together to get a firm idea of it. But right now, season 2 is my favorite. And Stephen, you're gonna see why when you watch.
It's very good.
I'm looking forward to it. It will be a while before we actually cover season 2 here on Here Be Dragons, but I'm probably gonna watch season 2 and 3 almost as fast as I can get to them.
Yeah,
I'm that in on that.
I don't blame you at all because
there was
I probably would have started now if I didn't feel like I needed to get a rewatch of those early episodes from when I was the stuff I watched back when I was sick.
Yeah. One thing we hadn't touched on was and this is right in John's wheelhouse, is the set design of their house and the costumes that they have these guys wear. They're so anachronistic. And
part of the reason why I think that's part of why I think Laszlo is my favorite character. It's just his whole getup, the way they've his hair, his beard especially, and what they have him wear and stuff, and so it just lends itself to his performance where he's just it's just brilliant. But all the characters are just and the way they've got Guillermo sleeping underneath the stairs. That's very Harry Potter of them.
That's a big nod to Harry Potter.
Yeah. And they locked you in here as punishment. No, this is my bedroom.
Doesn't he say he pays $1,100 a month or something?
Yeah, $1,800 a month.
I mean, that is not shocking New York prices.
Right.
Yeah.
Perhaps it would be a little cheaper than
he
that on Staten
probably is
Island.
paying all of the bills too.
Well, he has to do something, yeah.
And he's up all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know when he sleeps.
basically.
Because he's got to spend his entire day cleaning all the blood.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that relationship is how Guillermo obviously so badly wants to be a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he even suggests that he might be feeling slightly vampiric, Nandor is there to tell him, but you're not, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Vampires only laughing.
The end of episode 1, where his gift to him is the glitter portrait. He's like, "Look, I made you a vampire."
Like that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's me.
With all the glitter.
Yeah, so good.
For his second anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Or and then he takes them flying after their night out. I feel like a real vampire. Don't push it.
Sure.
But then the fact that he drops him and then he's like, he was very lucky.
Yeah, Phil, you see this guy just hauling all of these bodies out, disposing of the bodies, digging the holes, cutting them up.
He's like, if I had stayed at Panera Bread, I could have been a manager by now. Panera Bread, yeah. Panera Bread. Oh my God. So good.
With all the Panera Bread.
Let's see. I love the couple of scenes we get with other familiars.
Yes, in the waiting room.
They gave us the buckets or whatever. Oh, sorry.
Right, because they wanted to unionize. Remember?
And then when he meets them again in the council chambers, just the physical comedy of Guillermo not having a seat in that room and then having to squat onto a pipe or something was so funny. He nailed it.
Well, my master's gonna make me a vampire soon, and then you'll know why.
Yeah.
But that does bring up the question.
It's going to turn me into a vampire any day now. I've only been doing this for 7 decades.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't know any familiars that have crossed over. Yeah,
no one knows of somebody for real. He's like, there's a newsletter?
The way that Guillermo is just absolutely livid when he finds out that I don't remember her name, but the LARPer, Jenna, that she's been, that she's been turned into a vampire. He's just so mad on a whim.
He's like, oh, it sounds like somebody threw garbage off the roof, and then he sees who it is. He's like, yeah, just garbage, and she's like, I can hear you. Advanced hearing.
Yeah. Again,
heightened senses.
So, okay, there's a lot of great-looking people in Hollywood, and there's plenty of good-looking people in this movie, but this TV show, but they did not go for They're attractive people, don't get me wrong. But I kind of have an appreciation that they went with people who were not gorgeous and really went for people with the best possible comedic timing they could find.
You mean they didn't do the True Blood thing or whatever?
Yeah, they didn't. Right. It wasn't just a small.
No Alexander Skarsgårds.
10 layers of hotness.
Yeah.
Right. It's not just a smorgasbord of sexy people.
Well, they couldn't get Brad and Tom.
Right.
Or Kiefer.
Well, I mean, I think Kiefer Novak's very sexy.
Kiefer wanted to be here, but he couldn't make it.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, because that's a thing, in all the vampire movies or the vampire books.
They're sexy.
They're sexy. They're all ethereally beautiful, and that's part of the shtick, as to how they lure you in. But these guys, they're just normal looking people.
I mean,
it's a comedy. Yeah, exactly, Anna. Kayvon Novak is hot as hell, so that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, he's also engaged or married, so good for him. But I can still lust after.
Yeah,
him,
to be
fine.
clear, before we started the stream, somebody posted some Kayvon, thirst in the Slack. So.
Oh, okay.
I missed that. Apparently.
Man.
So
he does make me thirsty.
I'd watch that, Stephen.
Okay. You know what? I'm going there right now to look at it.
Too, I kind of thought it was interesting that, when Guillermo had everybody's DNA
Oh, which
and whatnot
channel is it
done.
in? I don't know.
It's the Well of Thirst.
Oh, I don't think I belong to that one.
We're just putting that out there.
How did I not know?
Oh no,
It's too far down the element.
it's green screening, so he's partly disappearing. But
Hot.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
just
cute.
go expose the guilty party while we're at it.
He's so cute.
yeah, I mean, look, she copped to it already.
Okay.
So there you
All
go.
right, cool.
All I can say is thank you, Kate.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting though that
No,
when
he's
they
a
did
beautiful
the
man.
swaps that neither Laszlo nor Nadja were in the least little bit interested in finding it. In fact, Laszlo was like, "F this," he said, "I'm going to burn it right now," So, and old Colin, he's like, "Yep, 100% white."
Yeah, and he's like, it couldn't say that. And he's like, oh, it does.
It's right here.
I didn't think I would go out like this, side by side with two perverts.
Yeah.
But no, that 100% white comment just reminded me of I was watching something with a Conan O'Brien interview, and he said his ancestry came back as 100% Irish. So
Yeah, that is like it's a sign of inbreeding or close cousins.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm straight up white guy too, but
Yeah.
I'm like
very
a little
pasty.
English, a little West, a little Irish, a little Swedish.
I'm
Yeah.
mostly Irish. So, but what was I going to say? If anyone hasn't looked up the Comic-Con panels with the cast and producers of this show, they're also very enjoyable. I know at least in one, Kayvon is wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, but with his like Nandor hair and facial hair, and it's very amusing to think of him as Nandor in that getup. I don't know.
I could see Nandor going on vacation and wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Even though he'd have to be in the dark the whole time.
Of course. Yeah. He'd be pasty. He'd just be pasty.
So,
and Guillermo packed it for him.
So so I started watching this show, and like the whole premise of the show, like it's posing a question, and I'm not really sure that they've fully answered it by the end of season 1, because there's like, I'm not sure what they do in the shadows still not 100% sure.
Obviously, whatever they want.
I don't even know how they got the title for the movie. I can't remember.
I mean, it's not that deep. It's like pulling back the curtain on what vampires
they do stupid stuff.
are doing, and
just the hilarity of the mundanity of suburban living, basically.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh my gosh, so many beautiful sight gags in this
and a lot of them like aren't actually interested in taking over the human race, despite what the Baron may be interested in. And they're like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea, but like,
what then?
Like, it wants us to take control of all North America. Well, that includes Canada.
Who wants that?
Hold on, I've got that written down on my list of quotes. What the fuck would anybody want with Canada?
Well, the best part of that joke is that everything on the show was filmed there. So a lot of the people in all the scenes are actually Canadian.
Right. It doesn't surprise me. I know Toronto gets a lot of filming. It's probably Toronto,
Vancouver
right?
more, but yeah, Toronto
really?
Definitely.
Okay.
I think so. Every CW show since whatever year, Vancouver.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Toronto is like The Expanse is Toronto for sure.
Yeah, all the vampire shows are filmed in Vancouver.
Yeah, everything from that network and other ones, because what's it called? I listened to a podcast out of there, and they're like, if you watch any of those shows, like they'll talk about being in whatever place, and you know, a native person from Vancouver will just be like, oh, I know exactly where they are.
Right.
But
Well, still,
yeah.
like, you're right. That is quite funny that it's filmed in Canada and they make that joke.
I mean, everything's. It seems like everything's filmed in Canada because, you know, not just like, you know, current stuff. I remember watching Highlander back in the 90s, and the end of every episode filmed in Vancouver. So it's like, yeah.
I mean, Vancouver's got some great like scenery too to take advantage of. It's not that far from LA as far as it's like a straight shot for the flight, and things being filmed in Canada with British actors. I think it's probably even easier to settle the paperwork for a Commonwealth of the British Empire. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. And the weather doesn't hurt.
Who knows? It might be easier to get the work visas in Canada for somebody who's British than for somebody from elsewhere. But I don't know. Also, you know, it's not that far away from all the industry people here. But I mean,
Right.
It's probably a much further flight for Taika and Jermaine, obviously.
Right. Well, everything's far from New Zealand.
Yeah, that's true. Even Australia is not as close as we think it is. I don't know. Yeah, the burning dong. Oh, all the donkey dong stuff. So funny. Oh my god. Let me see what I missed in the chat.
It's just everything about this film, or I keep saying film and movie, but like this show, it speaks to my comedic sensibilities. I have a great love of absurdist humor. And this is just like right in the pocket. It bowls a strike again. Like I say, it's perfect. It's not, because nothing is, but man, this show is perfect.
It's very well done. It has a much better budget than the movie too.
Oh yeah, I still have to watch the movie, but that was because it's got.
You can tell the budget isn't quite. Taika wasn't necessarily well known back then.
Yeah.
So it was a local.
Have you seen
production.
His interview as oh God, what's his name in Guardians of the Galaxy, or I mean Thor, in Thor?
Something? Krog? No.
I can't think of what his.
He's a rock dude, right?
Yeah, he's the guy who made rock. He did a.
That's one of the only MCU movies I've seen.
He was, as that character, he did a reaction video with Deadpool on Ryan Reynolds' YouTube channel, and they talk about his journey. It's funny. It's very funny.
Deadpool.
They were doing a reaction video of the movie Free Guy, but it was Korg and Deadpool reacting to the trailer for a Ryan Reynolds movie. Pretty funny.
Yeah, he has.
Taika Waititi is in that film as well.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
What is that noise?
Yeah. I thank you, Danny. I did get there eventually. Guys,
yeah, I had the letters in the wrong one.
Like his vampire name is like ridiculously long too.
Yeah, he's very German.
Let me see if I can get it. Viago von Dorna Schmarten Schlagen Heimberg.
Yeah, he has a slight German accent in the movie. He's got some choice lines and moves in the movie for sure.
I look forward to watching that. I'm going to finish the TV series first.
Yeah,
but I will absolutely.
It's just so funny to me that apparently he has, you know, a German accent for that, because then he went and did Jojo Rabbit, where he was playing, you know, Hitler.
As a half Jewish man too, just to really stick it to him. Yeah. My favorite Taika movie though is Hunt for the Wilder People. It was a really good one.
Yeah,
I mean, you would think it would be this movie, but it's not. Hunt for the Wilder People is excellent. I know that's off topic. Sorry.
That's fine. I was just saying though, we've got about 10 minutes left in the stream.
Okay.
So chatters, if there's something we should touch on that we haven't, guys, you know, Any last praise, favorite lines, anything like that?
I think Jolie
Yeah.
is hooked.
Yeah, we knew she would be.
Oh yeah.
Just like the fact that, following up, we were talking about earlier about how, Gregor and the fact that Laszlo has been the one to come in, and the fact that he's gonna let him live in this life, but then, he ends up decapitating himself.
Well, they set it up early in the episode, and you don't really realize why.
Yeah.
Why he has this metal line with the topiary or whatever, but it comes back.
Topiaries, man.
Oh my god! Yeah.
Oh no! You know what I forgot to do during the mid-roll?
What?
And I just realized it because this guy said something. I did not give a Patreon shout out to anyone.
There you go.
Oh, Steve!
How dare I?
Well,
you know what?
You can do it now.
I'm going to do it right now. Our patrons are better than most other humans. Like, if you become a patron, there's a high chance you will develop some sort of superpower. Like, ridiculous Ed Tollett, heard he might have X-ray vision. He is our alpha patron, and one of our Patreon High Council also includes Lord John Bronsteen the Wise, who can play 47 simultaneous chess matches blindfolded. That's a pretty cool superpower, right? Sixto Sounds, aka JP the Axe Grinder. He's basically a D&D bard. He can shred a guitar and it will melt your face. I've seen it happen. It happened to me once. I got better. Lady Leaf Underhill can talk to any animal of about the size of a horse or smaller, and fully can understand them. So join our Patreon, and maybe you'll get a cool superpower too. They're also attended by the lords and ladies of the realm, people who haven't quite developed their superpowers yet, but they are Ryan Stavka, the Russian Quartermaster, Reflective Rambling, and of course, Arch-Maester Emma. Thank you, patrons. We love you guys. Appreciate you. Keep it up. Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah.
So
back to the show.
Since I'm not very good at just remembering quotes off the top of my head, I've gone ahead and looked up some of them. I do just want to read something because this show is so damn funny. I'm not going to do this if he's pissing on the wall. Screw you, racist.
Yeah.
Am I a morning person? That would be an enthusiastic yes. I have recently rediscovered my love for topiary sculpture, the art of bush manipulation. How best to describe Nandor? I would say he's blessedly unburdened with the complications of a university education, but give him an axe and he's second to none. Though you wouldn't want him as your barrister, don't let him fucking see this. I just love the show. It's so great. I mean, just everything about it.
All right, y'all. Nessie, any final thoughts? Any moments that we didn't touch on?
It's just brilliant, and
it is.
Not enough love is given to this show. It's still, it's still a little under the radar of most people, and that's a shame. If you're not watching this show, you're sleeping on some of the best entertainment right now. Like, this got me through a lot of COVID.
I got you.
I mean, how do you think that I've watched these seasons so many times? Just because I was like, everything's shit. So I'm just gonna watch at least one whole season of this show again.
Right? It's like, oh, the plague. Remember, that was fun. No, because of this show. So yeah.
But no, it's the kind of show that is so, it's so fun to just, you can watch it over and over because the episodes go by really quick. They're pretty short, and it's the type of thing where you just want to keep pressing play on the very next episode.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes.
You're like, oh, it's season 2. I can't watch this episode.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna watch season 2 and 3, and then I'll do rewatches when we get to the point of covering it on the channel. Because they're
really
they're easy to binge. 10 episodes, about 20 minutes apiece. It's pretty easy.
Oh, Sarah.
Oh,
Do
before
you
I
have your
forget.
needlepoint? Do you have your needlepoint?
Oh, the bag. Hold on,
Yes.
I'll get it. Hold on, I'll get it back.
All right.
But and I have. Don't let me forget to talk about the music when I come back to
The
you. So let
music.
me turn my
No.
camera off. So
The music.
I don't need to. I won't. Hopefully, you won't see like my lower half. Then I'm just wearing like bike shorts. Hold on.
Potter. That's actually a pretty good one, Potter. Enjoy your D&D. He's only there to fill a quota. Talk about Tolkienism.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry, but
you know what? That's actually
Yeah, my
pretty.
friend
I
gave
think
me
it's pretty
this. Let me
good.
put my headphones in so I can hear you. Which one's right? Sorry. Oh yeah, my friend gave me this for my birthday.
Jed.
Yay.
yes.
Jesk. Yeah. So I have that. I have a couple of stickers that same friend sent. She loves the show just as much as I do.
That's when I knew you were a super fan.
Oh
You
yeah.
have merch. You
When you
have
have merch, you're a genuine fan.
Oh, for sure. I'm surprised. I don't have any T-shirts yet, but that can easily be remedied. And unfortunately, my sisters are not watchers of the show, or else they would have a much easier time figuring out a Christmas present for me. But actually, to convince a friend to watch the show because she just hadn't seen it, I actually bought her the DVD of the first season. Like, you refuse to get Hulu, you refuse to watch the show, so you're gonna watch it now because I sent you a physical DVD in the mail.
physical media
But anyway, yeah.
for the win.
Oh, she's actually watching now. She just sent me a message. Okay, but I don't know if she can chat. I don't know if she has an official YouTube login. But anyways, I said I would mention the music. Somebody mentioned the music very briefly earlier on. I totally forgot. The theme song is wonderful. It's also the theme song for the movie. And what was I going to say? Oh, just like the songs that they pick to go over the end credits are fantastic. Yeah. And, you know, occasionally you have other music in the show too. But like the music supervisor for the show is Mark Mothersbaugh. And he does music for a lot of movies and shows. And he's from Devo. So, you know, high quality stuff there.
Yeah, I don't sing if you want to live long. They have no use for your song. You're dead.
You're dead. You're dead.
So good.
Like,
Not
seriously, it got to a point where, like, you know, I was watching this show, and you know, the three of us watching it were just like singing the opening credits like every time it came on, because
you never need to skip the intro because
yeah,
I don't like
it's so great.
I love even the picture montage. Like,
yeah,
the pictures are so good though.
You know, like quick look to just get everything and every time, and I'm like, I think I see something new every time, even though I've seen the same photographs. You know,
yeah, I don't know if they change any of them over time or not. I
don't think they do.
Really looked.
Just, like, catching something new every time.
I love the little picture they show of the three of them when they talk about Nick Kroll's club, how they used to go there in like the Roaring 20s, and they showed them in like better attire for that era, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. I don't remember if they've done other stuff like that at other times, but yeah, they're like weird use of artwork just randomly on the screen is very good. The pictures of vampiric sex during the orgy episode is very funny. Just the random creepy artwork they picked out for that.
Or you know, they could have just hung the picture of Nadja and Laszlo in the nude with the cherries in their bum.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier too. So good. But yeah, there's more artwork themed silliness
God,
that comes up in
when
more
when Nandor and Guillermo
seasons.
go to the party store.
Oh, so
somebody's
good.
asking-
Creepy paper.
No, in
No,
the
but
orgy
later.
episode.
Oh,
I love how like Nandor immediately knew that kid was a virgin, and then he got a nosebleed, and Nandor's just like, ugh, you know, like, and then he literally
Licked it
licks
off.
it off the ground because it was so tasty or whatever.
He just couldn't resist.
And he's asking the girl
Guillermo,
at the
right.
store about the chocolate fountain if it could hold things that are thicker than chocolate. And she's like, what? Oh,
Guillermo, test out the dildos. Guillermo,
Yeah.
how are the dildos? They're fine.
Yeah.
Bye.
Gizmo, get the dildos. Gizmo, how are the dildos?
Gizmo.
So
Oh, yeah.
good.
So, like, I can't wait to get to the rest of this show. Gonna do it sooner rather than later. But I think I've been as effusive as I can about this season. We will come back. Sarah, I'm gonna twist your arm when that time
it'll
comes.
be really tough.
Like I got you once. Like the first one's free.
Okay.
You know, like but
We'll see.
you were a fantastic guest, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you for joining us. It's nice to have somebody who's a genuine like super fan.
Maybe by next time I'll have a T-shirt to wear.
Maybe we'll see. Christmas is coming after all.
Or maybe a
Yeah.
wizard net.
I'll just steal a traffic cone off of the street. They're always doing something. So yeah,
I
I'll wear that next
literally-
time.
Literally was helping to clean out my husband's storage unit, and yes, he had orange traffic cones in there. I should have stolen one.
And just worn it on your head. I'm a
Word.
wizard now.
Oh my god!
Sorry, now I'm just thinking of moments that I just wanted to say out loud. Guillermo, help us with this. Nandor, that is the Stairmaster. It is the master of the stair.
Oh,
It's the
yeah.
best.
So good. I love when they go downstairs to try to prepare for the Baron, and they don't even realize that's Colin's room, and he's just sitting there on the bed. So funny.
All right, Joe. Well, I think that's it. I think I've had all I can stand.
Probably.
You know,
I could talk for 2 hours about each episode. If
Well-
you ever needed more content, you could do less than a whole season at a time.
right? I got you. But we'll be back to talk some more. Probably maybe January or February. But in the meantime, come watch our other stuff. John has his own channel called John Webster Film, where he talks about movies that aren't always nerdy. Some of them are, but not all.
Except for next week.
Except for next week, which is the
Hobbit.
Hobbit trilogy with a whole smorgasbord of really awesome guests.
Well, if I watch all of the movies from between now and then, I will definitely more than Popeye.
Don't bother, just come and hang out and talk.
I like Martin Freeman. One of my favorite New Zealand-based actors plays one of the monsters of some sort. I mean, you can't really recognize him, so it doesn't really matter that it's him playing him, but it's fine.
I will say, like, regardless of what you think of the movies themselves, Martin Freeman is a phenomenal Bilbo, and he really makes those movies.
Yeah, he's basically the best part of those films. But yeah, that's going to be next Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on John Webster Film. Nessie, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, but get back at it. We need the magical creatures, man.
Yeah, and I see Lady Shar's in the chat. Lady Shar, girl, you need to get up and get in touch with me so we can do this thing. I know you've been a little under the weather lately, so I haven't held your feet to the fire, but hit me up. Hit me up.
Yeah, do that because we want it. We want it. And
Check
Sarah,
your Twitter.
we're gonna have you back to guest for when we talk about what we do in the shadows again, or if there's just something else we're doing that you want to talk about, and come back here next week for a retro review of Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. No, we have not done A New Hope yet, and I don't care. We're doing Empire because it's my favorite movie.
I'm sorry, what's A New Hope? I know Star Wars.
You know what I mean, John.
And-
it's fine. It helps to clarify when there's 9 movies and you say Star Wars, people think you're referring to the entire oeuvre of the film.
I don't.
Well,
Yeah.
it's useful to clarify, so stop it. So yeah, come join us next week for some Empire Strikes Back talk. It's gonna be a blast. I think that's it, right? Oh, one thing I wanted to do was advertise our Slack group. You want to join our Slack group? It's like Discord, but it's, a lot of the lovely people whose comments you've seen up on the chat. I mean, there is in there. But,
yeah, sometimes I forget sometimes to check my Slack.
I got you. It'd be like that. But so is Ridiculous Ed Tollett and Danny McKay. And my real life mom, this lady right here, Betsy Mother of Starks. Lady Leaf's in there. Kate Bertinsky is in there. Potter is in there. But it's pretty easy to avoid him if you want to. Anna's in there. Anna the meme queen. She posts hot and fresh memes every morning. So yeah, if you wanna join our Slack group, send me an email to we3dragons@gmail.com and we'll take care of that. Yep. Open to everyone. Basically 2 rules. Rule number 1, don't be an asshole. Rule number 2, please learn rule number 1.
That works.
All right, y'all. I think that's it. So we'll sign off for now. We'll see y'all next week. Same time, same place. And until then, you know what it is. Peace and be excellent to